Okay, I'm recording my thoughts just so that I remember what I say, because oh my gosh, the differences are as clear as day when you put them next to each other. So, first of all, oh my gosh, the wire texture, I don't know how else to describe it other than like, it's like when you take ceramics in high school and you're trying to like slip and like stick everything together and it ends up blending really weird when you want it to stand out like this. That's what I feel like is going on here. They changed up some of his patterns a little bit. That wire never went through that button. But I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense on how it stays there, so I'll give him that point. Those eyes, you know everything with the eyes. That's kind of obvious. That eye is missing entirely. The boing leg, it has more guts to it now. That also makes sense, but now it can't function like a spring like I hoped it would. Like he can pogo stick around on one leg. They declawed him. They declawed my boy. They made it so that it flows a lot more, especially you can see it in his torso. There's less obvious shapes. Like, you can see, okay, yeah, that's obviously, like, everyone calls it a bow tie shape, but it's, like, it's two fan shapes, and it looks like an elbow noodle. That's what it is. This one is also, you can kind of see it there. But, like, not as much, and, like, his body wires kind of take over that spot anyway. They don't really look tangled, they all just kind of look like they're going in the same direction, whereas they look more like a small intestine here. I mean, it's not exactly, but you can kind of tell that's what was going for. They made the giant circle less obvious. Give him back the circle. Your boy Slim Thick, Skinny Legend got me quaking. Oh my god, I love this. This is the best part about this model. Oh my god, his eyes. His little ugly eyes. Ah! You can't see that eye very well here because shadow is just kind of Click Team's rendering, which I feel like is always iconic with Scott's stuff, but that's just cause Click Team. So I'm not gonna put it past that. They fixed the bottom of his hat. They sanded down the puffball on his hat. You can see it's more pronounced here. His eyes are like, they're like cyan. They're not supposed to be, like, you can see them here. I mean, they look really gray here, but they're like pale blue, and they're much smaller. I mean, they're supposed to look a lot smaller, especially with, like, the gray, sort of, like, gradient effect around his eyes, and, like, the very bright white. Well, it's not bright at all. It's just supposed to make it look bright. It's all just to give, like, the illusion of making his eyes look smaller than they are. And over here, he's like, oh, ooga! Like, no, you're making it look more adoring. I already found this adoring. His neck is like way thicker. Like what? Like these are still here. That little curve shape. But yeah, that's not the same shape. You could see there's like a straight pole right here where his neck is, which that's obviously just because of the stick figure-ish base that Scott tends to start off with his endoskeletons. But there's like really clear defined shapes, so you can see that kind of half circle on his left, that X shape where his button is, the sort of curved lines where his like shoulder muscles would be. Also, this wire shape is different too. What? Oh my god! Did Steelwool just like make an entirely? They did just make a new model. What the heck? They didn't even make his hands look like a knot. They just put tinier wires on the ball joint. Like, what? What are you doing, Steelwool? Why are you massacring my boy this way? You got rid of his hips. What is wrong with you? He had very truthful hips. What are you doing? I mean, I sure hope that the one redeeming trait about all of this is that these wires are obviously not just clipped to the back of him. with like zip ties or whatever, because if you turn him around, you'll just see that all these wires that are sticking out of him are just barely touching his model, or they're just behind him. Like, oh my gosh, this is an entirely different model. I have to make a meme out of this. I have to make like the Virgin versus Chad meme out of this. This is ridiculous.